I was always interested in special effects and magic and creatures and movies ever since I was a little kid. We're actually doing something to a live human being to fool the audience into thinking we're hurting them or dismembering them or whatever we're doing. In reality, we're not hurting them at all. I hear a voice. It's an illusion, it's a magic trick, and that's the way I've always kind of looked at it. Back of the room, I hear a voice cry. My name is Jeff Goodwin, and I'm a makeup and makeup special effects artist for movies and television. What we do that's kind of unusual here at our lab, Transformations Makeup Effects Lab, is when we do a film, we do usually the entire film, which is we handle all the makeup from the straight corrective beauty makeup to character makeup to special effects, prosthetic, creature work, or whatever is needed. Most people just specialize in one field or the other. They don't usually do all of the above, and we do all of the above. I'd say I'd give you some of my highlights that I prefer. Blue Velvet. Last of the Mohicans. Ang Lee's Ride with the Devil. Those are the three that I really liked the best. Last of the Mohicans was a very challenging and interesting film. When you see Massacre Valley and the big attack and everything, that literally is 6,000 people in the shot. And every single person had to go through hair, makeup, wardrobe, the whole works, because everybody had to look like the time period in which the film takes place. With the Native American makeups and the body paints, the war paints, the tattooing and things like that, but then you also had to think about special effects as far as simulating gunshot wounds or different wounds like that that we would normally use to simulate with squibs, which is an electrical charge which blows out, which we control off camera. There's nowhere to hide the squibs or the wiring unless we did full, prosthetics to cover them when it's on skin. So what we did was we came up with this method of putting them all in leotards, bodysuits, and then airbrushing them to look like their, skin tone, muscle structure, everything, and then airbrush the war paint and the tattoos and everything right onto these bodysuits, so that way we could squib them. And so when you go back and watch the film now, and every time you see an Indian getting shot and stuff, and you think, well, look, he's just wearing a loincloth. He's actually fully clothed in a bodysuit. He's painted so you can't tell. In Rambo, that scene you're talking about with the splinter, that was not in the script. That was something I came up with because we were trying to come up with something to outdo the first film where Stallone sews up his arm, which was a nice effect. And so they wanted something that was a little more gross and was going to outdo that. There's an explosion goes off and a huge wooden door is just like blown in at him. And he gets blown back and you actually see that a big piece of wood has gone through his side. And then he goes and starts taking it out, which we did in one take with multiple cameras, all on Stallone with some pieces that I made for him, so that we were actually able to see the splinter coming out of his side and then him putting the gunpowder from the bullet into the holes and then lighting it with his campfire to flame shoot out both holes in his body to cauterize the wound to stop the bleeding. American Gothic was one of my favorite things that we've ever done for television. For the pilot, we had a very interesting effect, which is one of my favorites, which is what we call the blood tear, which sounds easy when you just read it or think about it, but in reality for us it's not, because there's no artificial blood or dyes that are really safe to go into the eye like that. So you can't really put anything like that in the eye for it to come out. So what I had to do was I built a prosthetic, which was the smallest little prosthetic I ever had to make, because to hide it I had to make a small little channel with a blood tube and everything so small that fit up underneath her bottom lash, that would just have a little opening here which we could plug out, and the whole bridge of her nose was fake, so I could conceal all the rest of it off camera, where I was doing the pumping just to get a little single on cue, a little tear of blood come out right out of it, what looked like her side of her eye there. We're always bending things, changing things, just for the sake of what looks good for the camera in a lot of cases.
A candy-colored clown they call the Sandman tiptoes to my room every night just to sprinkle stardust and to whisper, go to sleep, everything is all right. I close my eyes